All right, congratulations. We're on our last new skill of the summer. All right, congratulations. We're on our last new skill of the summer. Today we're going to focus on how do we write the equations of lines. In order to do that, we need to quickly review y equals mx plus b. That is our staple, our big piece of information. Y equals mx plus b. M was our slope, b was our y-intercept. So if we look at our three equations down here, in the last practice, we practiced finding our slope and y-intercept in order to graph the line. So let's just quickly review that again. In this equation, my m would be 3 and my b would be -2. So I have a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of -2. In my second equation here, I have a slope of -7 and a y-intercept of 9. And in my last equation, I have a slope of 2/3 and a y-intercept of 2. Hopefully you remember that from skill number 10. So we're going to use that information now to go the reverse direction. This time I'm giving you the m and the b, and I want you to write me the equation. Well, it's really simple. All we have to do is fill in the 5 and the -9 in our equation. Y equals mx plus b. So instead of m, I'm going to write 5. And instead of b, I'm going to write -9. So y equals 5x minus 9. That's it. We just wrote the equation when I give you the slope and the y-intercept. Let's try that again. We have y equals, instead of m, I'm going to write -2. I still keep that x. And then instead of b, I'm going to write +8 because that must be a positive 8 since there's no negative sign there. So we have y equals -2x plus 8. Here we go again. One more time. Y equals, our slope is 4/5, and we still have x, and we have +17. So when I give you the slope and the y-intercept, remember m is slope and b is the y-intercept, you should be able to write me the equation. Don't overthink it. But what happens when I give you the graph and I want the equation? So we have these steps. It goes a lot quicker than it seems like it would. Don't worry. But go ahead and write these 7 steps down on your paper, okay? I'm going to erase that circle just so it doesn't cover up any of the words for you, all right? Make sure you have all 7 of these steps down on your paper because they're important for us. I'm going to show you how we write this equation following these 7 steps. Find where the line crosses the y-axis. So I go to my y-axis and there it is. Well, that's a +1. So b must be 1. Find another point on the line. You got to be careful. This is where kids make mistakes. You have to have a point. See where these 2 red lines are intersecting? Kind of where all these boxes meet? That's where it needs to go. It has to go exactly through that corner there. Not really close to it, right through it. So I did step 2, count the rise over run. So I went up 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So I went up 4 and over 1. There's my slope, 4/1. Can I reduce that fraction? Yes, I can. That fraction reduces to 4. Now, that's what this divide means. You can say reduce. Change that divide to reduce. Now, if we take a look, the direction, this line is going uphill, and we said that's positive, and I got a +4, so we're good. And now I just put them into the equation. Y equals 4x plus 1. We just did it. Let's try a whole bunch more. Okay, so it said start with the y-intercept. It's right there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got to go 4 up. I'm going to change the color of my pen so we can read this. So b equals 4. Now I got to find the next point. So I'm going to just kind of start at my y-intercept and trace on my graph until I go through a perfect intersection. There's a perfect intersection all the way down there. So I have m equals, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down. So down 7. I read my graph left to right, and that means I went down 7. Then I went over 3. So my slope is negative 7/3. So my equation is y equals negative 7/3 x plus 4. We just did it. I'll write it up here in case you can't see it. Y equals negative 7/3 x plus 4. Let's do it again. Find your y-intercept. There it is. And that looks to be at -3. So b equals -3. Trace my graph left to right till I find my next perfect intersection point. There is one right there. Okay, so now I got to figure out what's going on with my slope. I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up 8. So that's positive 8 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 6. That's 8 over 6. Does that reduce? Yes, it does. That reduces to 4 over 3. So if it reduces to 4 over 3, if I go up 4 and over 3, I should land at a spot, shouldn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. I do. Look. I do land right at another perfect intersection. I just missed it the first time. That's okay. And if I look here, watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. There it is. We're all good. So y equals 4/3 x minus 3. There's our equation. Let's do some more. Start with finding the y-intercept. There it is. And now trace your graph to the left, finding the next perfect intersection. When I trace and I trace, that one looks really good, but it's not quite. It's close, but not quite there. But guess what? Right here on the edge here, it's going perfectly through. So I know I've got one there. So my y-intercept is b equals 2. Now I got to work on my slope. I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went up 8 and over 3. Up 8 and over 3. So my equation is y equals 8/3 x plus 2. And again, we're going to do this. Start at your y-intercept. 1. It's all the way down here, isn't it? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So b is at -7. Now I'm going to trace my line. And remember, I got to find that perfect intersection. Not really close, but perfect intersection. It's kind of hard to find. Oh, I can see one right here, though, can I? Nope, that's not quite perfect. So we're going to have to erase it and try again. We really have to be on that perfect intersection. No exceptions. And if I keep looking, it looks to be right about here. That one goes through perfect. That's up 1, up 2, up 3. So my m is up 3 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops, I lost count. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This time over 8. So my equation is y equals 3/8 x minus 7. And if I look, I'm running uphill, so I know my slope should be positive. Remember those self-checks that if you're going uphill, your slope is positive. If you're going downhill, uphill, like this, is a positive m. Downhill, going this direction, is a negative m. Remember, that's a way we can self-check to make sure we didn't make any mistakes. All right, we're going to do it again. Here's my b. So my b equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B's at positive 5. Now I got to find my next perfect point, and that's right there. That's why I go right through the middle, not close, right there. And that's up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that reduces to 1/3. Did I miss a point? Up 1 over 3. I did. I missed one right there, but that's okay because I'm going to get the same number because I know how to reduce my fractions. So my equation is y equals 1/3 x plus 5. Let's do it again. Oh, well, this B is kind of in the middle, isn't it? That's not right exactly on the box. So what are we going to do? Oh, there's got to be another way when B isn't perfectly on the graph. Well, there is. And we're going to talk about that soon. So this is where find 2 points and when we have a B that doesn't land perfectly on the y-axis, on a nice pretty integer, we can't estimate our B. There has to be another way, and there is. When B is not an integer, use the 2-point method. And that's a method we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes. So we're going to hold off and we're going to talk about how we would figure this one out in a couple of minutes. Now let's take a look at horizontal and vertical lines. What do we think the equation for a horizontal line would look like? Well, those are for horizontal lines. Well, here's a coordinate plane, and a horizontal line goes like this, left to right. Well, the only thing that these all have in common is the same y value. Because look, they're all up at the same height. Well, it's y equals some kind of number. Now, a hashtag is what you think that sign is. That sign is actually called a pound sign, meaning a number. So y equals some number is how we write equations for a horizontal line. Well, what about a vertical line? Well, let's sketch a vertical line. The only thing all these points have in common is that they're the same x value, right? Everybody's in line with this x. So these are x equals a number equations. So if you have a horizontal equation, you're going to have y equals a number. If you have a vertical equation, you're going to have x equals a number. So here we go. First, we have to decide, is this horizontal or vertical? This one's vertical, isn't it? It goes up and down. So we know vertical is x equals, because look, they all have the same, all these points have the same x value. And what's the x value? Well, that's a 1. So that equation is x equals 1. Okay, not so bad. This one's horizontal. It's going left to right. So we know that's y equals a number, and the number in this case is 1 because all the y values have a 1. Let's go again. Write the equation of this line. Well, that's horizontal vertical line. That's a vertical line, so we know it's x equals, and the number is -3. Then we have x equals -4. Well, what would that look like on a graph? Well, we know x is -4 is right here, and x equals a number is a vertical, so we would draw it like this. So we go both ways. So let's make sure we remember. X equals a number is a vertical line. Y equals a number is a horizontal line. And y equals mx plus b, that's a diagonal line. I just spelled that wrong. Hold on, guys. Okay, so these are the ones that go left to right on the coordinate plane. See how they kind of go on an angle? These ones go strictly left to right, and these ones go up and down. So remember we talked about we needed to figure out what to do when it doesn't give us that perfect y-intercept, that perfect b value. Well, there's a 4-step process. How do we write the equation of a line given a table or 2 points? First things first. Find the slope from any 2 points. Now slope is my m value, right? And that's going to be change in y over change in x. How much did the y change, up or down? How much did the x change, left or right? Once you do that, you're going to plug m into your equation. after you plug in your m, you're going to pick one point and plug in the x and y values. And then you're going to solve for b. Okay, so we're going to practice this a lot. Here we go. Here's our table, because remember we said we could do this with 2 points or a table. So I have this beautiful table. I'm going to pick any 2 points. How much did x go up? What's my change in x? Because step 1 was find the slope, right? How much did x change? Well, to go from 0 to 5 on the number line, I went up 5, right? How much did y change? My change in y. To go from 6 to 21 on the number line, well, then I went up 15, didn't I? So slope was change in y over change in x. So I have 15 over 5, and that turns out to be 3. So my m is 3. Okay. Then I get to pick any point I want. Let's write down y equals 3x plus b. I'm going to pick any line from the table I want. I want this one because it's nice positive numbers I'm comfortable with. This is my y. 15 is my y. See how it's in the y column? And 3 is my x. So let's put that in the x column. Now I can solve this equation. 15 equals 9 plus b. Use my inverse operation, subtract 9 from both sides, and 6 equals b. I have an m. I have a b. Now I can fill my equation. So y equals 3x plus 6. I just wrote the final equation. We're going to do a couple more of these. It takes a few to get this down. Let's do this again. How did I get my change in x? How far is it from -4 to -6? Well, that's down 2 on the number line, isn't it? And my change in y from -1 to -2 is down 1. So then my m is -1 over -2. Because remember, x is in the denominator. Change in x is in the denominator. M equals change in y over change in x. Well, what's a negative divided by a negative? That's a positive, isn't it? So couldn't I write this as 1/2? I can. So now I have y equals 1/2 x plus b. I can pick any set of numbers I want from the table. I'm going to pick this line this time. My y is 6. My x is 10. So 1/2 of 10 plus b. Well, what's 1/2 of 10? 1/2 times 10 is 5. So I have 5 plus b. Solve the equation using inverse operations. And 1 equals b. So now I have an m value and I have a b value. So I can write my equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 1. We just did it. We're going to do it again. This time I'm not going to give you a table, so you don't get to choose which points you want. You have to use the 2 points I give you. All right. Well, that's not so bad because can't I just turn that into a table? Can't I make 4, 5, and -6, 2, and just put them in a table like that? Makes it easy, doesn't it? So how did I get from 4 to -6? Well, I dropped back 10, didn't I? And from 5 to 2, I went down 3. So to get from 5 to 2, I had to go down 3. And to get from 4 to -6, I had to go down 10, correct? So m is change in y over change in x. So my change in y is a -3. My change in x is a -10. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I don't need those negative signs anymore. So my slope is 3 over 10. So I have y equals 3 over 10 x plus b. So now I get to pick one of those points and plug them in. I'm going to use, doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep with a positive number. So I'm going to use this one. 5 goes in for the y. 3/10 times 4 plus b. Okay. 5 equals 12 over 10 plus b. So what's 12 over 10? Can I reduce that? I can. 5 equals 6 over 5 plus b. So then if I use inverse operations, I got to subtract 6/5 from both sides, don't I? Well, that's 5 minus 1 1/5 equals B. So 5 minus 1 1/5. Well, 5 minus 1 is 4, and then I got to take another 1/5 away from that. So that's 3 4/5 is B. So this equation is y equals 3/10 x plus 3 4/5. Can you write y, make that an improper fraction and still be correct? Absolutely. And it's a lot easier if you do make it an improper fraction. There we go. So I would take either one of these answers as being correct. Okay, well, what about word problems for these equations? This problem says create a real world situation that has the following as an equation. So 3 is happening multiple times because it's got that x, and 100 is only happening once. So could we say $3 per person for t-shirts plus a $100 setup fee? If you've ever had to order your own custom t-shirts, they charge you to set up your design. So they're charging me $100 for my design, but once my design is paid for, then it's only $3 a t-shirt. So let's take a look at this next one. The following equation models the profit a company makes from selling t-shirts. P equals P for profit, 4x minus 10. Explain what the 4 and negative 10 might mean in this situation. Well, the 4 would be price per t-shirt. I just spelled t-shirts wrong. Let's fix that. Per t-shirt. And my profit would be minus the $10 production cost. Companies pay money to make things. So that's how much their production cost is. It's $10. So that could be what it is. Could it be something else? Yeah. It could be the shipping company that they use charges them $10 to ship each box. So $4 per t-shirt and $10 to ship them. Whatever works. You can make up something as long as it seems reasonable. So good luck on your practice. Make sure you have good notes on this video. Send me emails and messages through Google Classroom with any questions you have.